This episode is brought to you by OB Golf Co. It's golf outside the stakes. They create apparel and accessories that can be used on and off the course. Make sure to visit their website at www.obgolfco.com and use code SAVEPAR20 to get 20% off your order. Welcome to Save Par Golf Podcast, where two average golfers talk about golf and things. I'm your host, Eric.
I'm your host, Dominic.
In today's episode, we'll talk about Phil Mickelson making history by winning the 103rd PGA Championship at the age of 50. Some Brooks and Bryson drama. And of course, we will end our podcast by talking about some sort of food or new restaurant we've tried in the last few days. Dom, we're in episode 6.
Big number 6.
Big number 6. Big news. Phil Mickelson making history.
It's been a good couple weeks for golf.
Yeah, and we were talking before we got on air here. I think Phil owes us some sort of like
We talk about Phil a lot. I don't want to say we spoke into existence, but we spoke into existence.
I think so. I think he owes us some sort, maybe like a signed glove or something.
Yeah. Send us a ball.
Send us a ball, right?
I think it's funny how we always talk about Phil, but neither of us took Phil.
Neither one of us. Yeah, we'll kind of talk about that later on in the podcast. But our stimmy picks did not go as planned. That's for sure.
Mine went better than yours for sure. Both finished 1 under.
Yeah, I didn't even have a chance at that point. Well, actually, Rory still was nowhere in position to win, but he did make the cut.
Yeah.
So
where Xander didn't.
Xander did not have a very good performance, unfortunately. But yeah, so Phil Mickelson, I mean, huge news, obviously, 50 years old, makes history, winning the 103rd PGA Championship. Who would have seen that coming?
Nobody other than Phil.
And a couple other people that bet on it.
Yeah.
There was a couple people that made
I saw
some good
somebody
money.
bet like $2 and made $800 or something.
Yeah, depending on where you went, there was one that's guy bet $100, won 28,000.
I saw one where it was like a 200 to 1 odd or 1,200 to 1 or
I think 20. Well, I think it was 20.
I don't remember anymore.
I think it was like 2,800 to 1. Let me do my math.
I don't know.
Hold
Go Phil.
on. We're doing this. We're doing this math here.
I'm not good at math, as we know.
Okay, so it's not. Okay, that makes sense. So depending on where you went, it was where the guy bet $100. It was 280 to 1. So he bet $100, won $28K.
Good for him.
So solid.
I'd bet on Lefty and those calves.
Well, yeah, now, but we didn't bet on him earlier. What the heck? That magic 8 ball. But Phil had an outstanding performance.
It was just
pretty much start to finish.
It was masterful.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Right. Obviously he shot, I think ended up shooting 2 over par, but finished 6 under par for the round. It was just fantastic. I know we talked about it again before we started, on air, but I posted a picture earlier about Phil Mickelson in the crowd and then comparing it to Tiger. And we kind of discussed that. And my take was it's just really nice to see that there's that many fans at a PGA event.
It's refreshing.
And it is. It's super refreshing. And of course, other than Tiger Woods, who better than Phil?
Right. Or Spieth or, somebody who hasn't won in a while. And
for sure. I like. That would have been cool to see Spieth win it, or Rory. On my stimmy, I picked Rory, but
I don't know. My big issue was everyone was comparing it to Tiger, which, don't get me wrong, I see the similarities and I see why, but to me it kind of downplays what Phil did because Tiger was a Masters and, but
totally understand. It's kind of like everyone tries to bring Tiger Woods into every event or tries to plug him into something where comparing.
Yeah, and like we were saying, Phil hasn't won a major in 30 years. So in my lifetime, I've never seen Phil win a major. My 24 years of life, because I just turned 24.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Belated. Whatever. Yeah. I've never seen Phil win a major. I've seen Phil win tournaments and stuff like that, but the fact that he's, like, to me, this is almost as big. as Tiger winning Masters, because one, Phil's 50. Two, this is like a 30-year build-up.
He's 50 years old. He broke the history here, made the history books by...
He doesn't look 50.
He doesn't. And well, that's another thing. I mean, he's 50, but he's arguably in his best shape he's played on the tour.
He's hitting the ball long, and as in his quotes, he's still hitting bombs.
He's hitting salacious bombs.
With the hellacious C's.
Hellacious C's, yeah. 366-yard drive. It's remarkable to hit. Be at 50 years old. I mean, I can't even do it at 31 years old. But granted, I'm not a peach. Old. I'm getting there. But it's just unbelievable that the guy at that age still hitting those drives the way that he was hitting. I mean, he was hitting. Every tee shot was an absolute missile. Yeah,
he was hitting it good all week, even the first couple rounds. And I remember you texted me. He's like, "Hey, Phil's up there," and I was like, "Shut up, really?" And I had to look because I was at work, and I was like, "Yeah, look at Phil." And then I was like, it's not gonna happen." And then the next day, it's still Phil. And then Saturday rolled around, it's still Phil.
Yeah, and speaking of that, we were talking about the stimmies and all that, and didn't pin it, but I did play in a small little DraftKings tournament, and I did pick Phil Mickelson.
Did you?
On my team?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to pick a group of players, 6 players. Didn't really win much, but I still made a little bit of money.
Fun.
Yeah, it's still fun, and Phil was one of my dark horse to win it. But so yeah, it's super exciting to see. The guy's in incredible shape right now, and he's just a character. I mean, he's so so many times we talk about Tiger Woods being great for the game of golf, but so is Phil Mickelson.
I think Phil's more fun than Tiger because it's more personality based with Phil. Mm-hmm. It's like George Kittle is the people's tight end, right? Because Kittle, he's fun, he's funny, and it just seems like a bro.
Yep. Super relatable, just a down to earth kind of cool dude.
You could say that Phil's the people's golfer in a way, right?
Very true. Yeah, I like that comparison.
Because he's always giving people balls, and my favorite thing is now that he's one of us posting all these Phil videos, and there's all these compilations of him hitting people with balls.
Yeah.
And then he signs his glove saying, "I'm sorry, I hit you, Phil Mickelson."
Yeah, I'm so sorry with the little the O is a little frowny
face. Yeah. And he gives little kids golf balls and takes pictures, and that's something that the little kid probably won't remember.
Yeah, I'd seen somebody was talking about that earlier. They were like, I never really was a fan of Phil, but my kid asked for an autograph and some guy was like budging, and Phil made it known that like, hey, back off. I'm trying to,
Yeah.
He ended up like backing the older guy off, signed for this guy's kid, but he ended up signing for everyone.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal if you think about it. And that's another thing with like Ricky, for example. Like I've never heard anything bad about Ricky being kind of a punk and not signing autographs. And you think about these guys are traveling everywhere.
They're probably tired of people.
Yeah, exactly. So many people are like, oh, I wish I could be in that situation. But those are the things that you don't really think about. Like as a normal average person, you go outside, you do your thing, and there's no one to be bothering you for the most part. But these people, and they're huge fans, which is awesome. But the way that they embrace it and the way that they actually take care of all their fans. Mm-hmm. And that's how they get this reputation.
Right. And at the end of the day, this is their job. So like my job, I do with people all day.
Yep.
So there are days.
At some point, you probably get annoyed. You don't want to even deal with something.
Yeah. Like people come in. I'm just like, you should just go home.
Well, exactly. And it's like,
so, being a professional golfer, signing everything for everybody, being relatable. Like, yeah, you kind of have the right to kind of be mean to people.
Yeah, I'm sure you have your off days, obviously. I'm sure there's probably people that are going to be listening like, oh, I had a bad experience with somebody.
Right. Which I know on TikTok, there's all these like, oh, so-and-so doesn't tip well. It's like, well, you maybe come on an off day and, but the fact that Phil's always smiling, thumbs up, even like when he's in the zone, it's thumbs up, thumbs up.
I'm convinced that the thumbs up emoji was created by Phil Mickelson. He's the one that.
I'm surprised it's not his logo. Should just be the thumbs up.
He needs to have some sort of thumbs up logo on his hat or a polo or something.
I saw this logo is like him swinging or whatever, which is very cliche. I think it should be thumbs up.
Speaking of that, we should try to get an over-under of how many thumbs up this guy, of Phil, at the U.S. Open.
I'm sure somebody counted.
There's got to be an over-under bet.
Oh, I'm sure. You can bet on anything.
Yeah. We should definitely try to figure out if somebody can get that stat of how many thumbs up he did during the PGA Championship. Because, every time I saw him, it was
Well, yeah,
it depends on the performance.
Yeah. Well, even like towards the end, he's walking, the crowd's around him, it's just thumbs up, and then I'm like, oh, that's it, and then all of a sudden, thumbs up.
Or the tap on his hat. He does the little tap on the hat and the thumbs up. I mean, the guy is just fantastic to watch.
Yeah. I love watching Tiger. Don't get me wrong. I want to make that clear. But when you watch Phil, it's almost like a treat. Mm-hmm. Because it's just so fun. And even when he's doing bad, it's still like he's joking with people. And there's that clip of someone's like, oh, that's got to be better than Tiger's. And Phil goes, oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I love how he even chirps back on all the comments on social media, too. Like, not in a mean way, but in a fun way.
Yeah.
There's so many people that have made all these comments.
And in his videos where it's like his formula where it's coffee, calves, hellacious seas.
Yeah. The guy's just pure comedy. I love it. I think it's great for the game of golf. I think besides Tiger Woods winning it, I mean, that's probably the coolest performance I've seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
And
I know they were saying, which I know a lot of people don't really care about the Ryder Cup, but they're saying like he has to be on the Ryder Cup team.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That he's pretty much like, all right, he needs to be a lock. Like we need to get him. Oh yeah. And the way he's hitting the ball, it's like, of course. I mean, if you're going to hit the ball, that far consistently.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Koepka's a very good driver, which obviously right now he has coming off a knee injury, which could impact some of his distance. But the fact that Koepka hit it 361 and then Phil's like, hey, hold my beer, watch this. And it hit an absolute nuke and went 366 at age 50.
Yeah, I think he said hold my coffee. Hold my super coffee.
Yeah, it's probably coffee. It's not beer.
Super coffee. But no, exactly. It's like, I mean, Brooks is an absolute beast. I do think I do think that it would have been a different story. Not to try to take anything away from Phil, but I don't know how significant the pain or what his situation was playing that final Sunday. Because Brooks, I mean, it's clear and it's obvious that he says that, all the other tournaments are fun and they're good for preparing. But at the end of the day, he shows up to play majors. And he's got a pretty good track record.
They had his stats where it was like major Brooks versus like a normal tournament Brooks. Did you see that on TV?
I didn't see that. No.
It was like his like average finish in non-majors is like top 20 or something. And like his average finish in majors is like tied for 5th.
Yeah, I mean, he's won 4 and he's still young.
Yeah.
And he came off of a knee injury knee injury and surgery. Yeah. And so I don't want to say that he would have won, but at the same time,
it would have been a whole different story.
I think so. I think it would have been, but it was kind of cool to see Phil Mickelson and Brooks in the final pairing.
Right. 2 completely different players, 2 completely different people.
Personalities.
Yeah. I mean, Brooks is kind of a punk to me.
I like Brooks, but I think he does definitely have that punk reputation.
Mm-hmm. Especially with
cockiness, and I know we're going to talk about the Bryson drama. Brooks, of course.
The thing with Brooks though is he can back it up.
He does.
I mean, he's got 4 majors already, and it hasn't been a super long career. They had like a little. It was a while ago on TV where they were kind of talking about his upbringing, and even back in the day, he was kind of cocky with tournaments because he knew he was good.
Yeah.
Which I mean, he is good. He's young phenomenal. And he's engaged. Congrats.
He's got everything kind of in the right direction for him. So
and he's like Ricky, but with majors.
Yeah,
because Ricky doesn't have any. That's a subtle jab at you.
Unfortunately, not. I think he will. I kind of put in my notes here of things that I wanted to kind of hint on, and that was one of them. We'll kind of just dive right into it. But as far as solid performances. A couple of key finishers, performers, I would say, is Ricky. Mm-hmm. He finished tied for 8th.
Spieth did pretty well, too. I don't remember what he finished, but they kept cutting back and forth to him, and he was doing pretty well.
Yeah, Ricky finished tied for 8th, shot a total 1 under for the tournament, which is awesome to see. Hopefully he can get back on the right track.
Yeah. How did your little Shoffley bet go?
That didn't go well at all. Didn't even make the cut. Another solid performance was Abraham Answer. He also was tied for 8th, but he shot a 7 under on Sunday.
Oh, go ahead.
So that was pretty awesome. So that was kind of the 2 key solid performers that I thought. Obviously,
who is that guy who came in 3rd that nobody's ever heard of? That Luis?
Luis Oosthuizen? Oh, he's fantastic.
I shouldn't say nobody's heard of him.
Yeah.
I've never heard of him.
That guy, if you watch some of his videos, you should watch his short game tempo. Probably one of the best short game ball strikers.
He was hitting it really well.
He's fantastic. South African guy. I think he was
towards the end. He was giving Brooks quite the run.
Yeah, I thought he would have made kind of a better performance on Sunday, and that was kind of a disappointing performance as far as Sunday. And then again, Brooks would be my other guy, and I don't say it disappointed because I don't think he played well, but I think really it came down to I think his knee was kind of hindering him.
Yeah,
because I think it would have been a whole different ball game with him being healthy. So I'm not saying it was disappointing as in he didn't play well, so to speak, but at the same time, I thought he could have gave Phil a little bit more run for his money.
I know. I put my quote-unquote stimmy on John Rahm and Colin Morikawa because I like both of them very much. I initially saw Colin was like +3, and I'm like, oh no, Derek's gonna eat me alive. And then he shot 4 under and ended with 1 under, and I was like, okay,
yeah, he finished tied for 8th, and he's
pretty good. And then John Rahm was there too.
Yeah, he
finished 1 under.
Yeah, so you did pretty well.
Yeah, I think I would have gotten money. I don't know how much money, but better than you.
Better than me. Yeah. Another disappointing performance too. Obviously, was Rory. I mean, he just didn't look.
He didn't look comfortable.
No, he didn't.
Which
look
that golf course, I'm sorry, anybody looked comfortable.
It's arguably the toughest course in America, with up there with Bethpage Black, which
that was crazy looking how tight that course is, and you're off one way, you're in the water.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting and cool to see that. You know, the ocean course is sand, so you can actually ground the club.
Yeah.
Which is, you can't do that in a bunker. You can't ground the club. So it's kind of interesting to see that they're actually taking practice swings out of sand, which is different. Something that I guess I'm not really used to as far as watching it.
It's weird watching I know we talked about it last week with the rangefinders. It's really weird watching Phil there with like his rangefinder. And
that was one thing too that I wanted to bring up. Yeah. Did you... I didn't hear anything about it being slowing up the pace of play, but I did notice that there were plenty of golfers that were using it.
I'm sure they enjoy it. I think they probably get more like elevation and distance because I'm sure you and I would use it for like a different reason where we'd probably aim it right at the pin and we're like, oh, we're 400 yards out. We're going to hit 400. Yeah. Where I'm sure they're just like, okay, we're XY above the hole. And
they have so many notes that they're already taking that they kind of have an idea, but they're just, it's more of a I
think it's more of like a visual aid.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
I know there was that one golfer who got hit with the time penalty.
I can't remember who it was.
I can't either. I have the article.
Oh, there was. Well, speaking of getting hit with the time penalty, I was thinking when you said hit, I was thinking of. Did you see Rory tee one up? I think it was on Saturday. It could have been on Sunday, but it was on. No, I think it was on Saturday where he teed one up and it went way left and shanked one and hit somebody pegged somebody right in the back.
Did he sign his glove and say, "I'm sorry"?
I can't say. I'm not sure. I didn't see that, but. I think the guy was okay, but
so it was John Catlin or Caitlin.
Oh, was it Cantlay?
No, Cantlin. Yeah, it's Catlin. Cantlin. It took him 74 seconds to play a second shot, resulting in a pace of play warning. The PGA Rules Committee said. So he also took one on hole number 3. We took 63 seconds.
Was this because of the rangefinder?
I don't know.
Not sure.
It's kind of funny that they put in this rangefinder and then all of a sudden this guy gets hit with 2 penalties because you're only supposed to take 40 seconds. And he took almost double it and then he took a little over, but...
Okay. Yeah, no, that'd be kind of something that I'd like to kind of dig, deeper into and see. Because I didn't hear too many issues or concerns after the fact. Another cool little nugget with the PGA Championship, according to CNBC, is that Phil's win attracted 6.5 million viewers, which is the most watched final round in 3 years of the PGA Championship.
Is that what it is?
That's what I kind of was reading further into it. So which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to watch as much as I could. Obviously, I watched pretty much most of the final round with Phil and Brooks.
I watched the back 9.
Okay. I was going to ask you too. I know a lot of people had been talking about how they were super, happy or pleased with the ESPN coverage.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I have the ESPN Plus, and I was watching it on my phone when I wasn't at home. And I thought it was awesome. They had like several different options to your featured groups, and then it also had like your featured holes. So it wasn't just like one coverage on like a bunch of different people. You could kind of almost pick and choose.
So it wasn't like CBS where it's like so and so's here, and then all of a sudden it pans over and you're watching some people you've never heard of.
Yeah, no, not on the ESPN. Not on ESPN Plus. You could actually pick your final pairing, and with that, I think that would be something like moving forward. How they had all these options. I think it'd be cool to like add your favorites. And then you could, Ricky or Rory, because sometimes they're not paired up with maybe a well-known other person, so they're obviously not going to.
They're not going to be as broadcasted.
Yeah, so it's like I think that would be kind of a cool little option. Is like you can apologize for the
holy sirens.
Yeah, we got sirens cooking here downtown Minneapolis.
Shocker.
Yeah, it's on the north. But. So I think that would be kind of a cool option. Obviously, it's a major, so there's going to be more coverage. That is the one downside that I wish, as a big golf fan, that on every tournament, I wish that they could give those options. Yeah. Maybe not as much, but some sort of options, because
like I love watching the Pro-Am. There's just something about watching like your professional and then like your favorite just athlete play golf, whether it's like Steph Curry or like I love Barkley, just because his swing was all jacked up and now it's fixed.
It's getting better, yeah.
No, it's like full. Have you seen it?
Yeah,
it's like a lot better. Fixed, and I was like, God, I hate it now.
Go back.
Yeah,
go back.
But I'd like to be able to say, oh hey, so and so's playing with whoever. Like, let me pin that one so I can watch it. That'd be really cool. I watched it on ESPN on TV a little bit. And then obviously when their coverage ended, I just switched to CBS or whatever it was on.
Yeah. On the final coverage, on Sunday, I went to CBS and watched it. But I did pull it up a little bit on my phone too, where I could select other groups. So I think they did a good job. I know some people were, obviously there's always going to be somebody complaining, but for the most part, I thought it actually was pretty good coverage.
It's hard to please everybody, but
you're never gonna, unfortunately.
I think it's a good direction.
You kind of took the words right about that. That's kind of exactly what I was going to say. It's kind of a move in the right direction. Yeah. Again, I think where you could kind of pick and choose your favorites and kind of group them together, and that would be pretty cool. And again, there's so many people that love to watch golf, and it's like, why does it have to be just on majors?
Right.
Let's put it on other tournaments. You're not going to get nowhere near the coverage or the amount of viewers, but still, there's still a lot of avid golfers that.
Well, especially because a lot of the tournaments are in places like in different countries, and
there's obviously
like they have that Abu Dhabi tournament every year, and I think it always looks really cool. Granted, it's at like 2 a.m. our time.
Yeah,
but I still like to watch highlights of it because it's like that's somewhere I'll probably never go.
Yeah, sometimes if I can't sleep, if it's sometimes I like those tournaments though.
Yeah, if you can't sleep.
Yeah, or if you got a weekend and you're watching it live at 11 o'clock at night to like 1 in the morning. So
you got cool. We're here with our beers. Yay!
Yeah, exactly. It's late night, having a good time. So it was pretty awesome. Obviously, the biggest headline was Phil Mickelson.
But the most fun headline is the Bryson and Brooks drama, which is just hilarious.
I did want to just mention one other thing, but Phil did win $2.1 million.
Go Phil.
Go Phil.
Go Phil.
That is spectacular.
Drink all the coffee you want now.
Not only did you become the oldest, even though an age is just a number, but still, you broke record. You became the oldest golfer to win a major at the age of 50. And you won $2.1 million, and it was a major championship.
And now he's exempt for the next 5 years. Yeah, now he's exempt.
He had he got that U.S. Open. They were giving him a kind of a pass, and then he ended up doesn't need it. So go Phil. That's awesome. I think he should go out and now play the PGA Senior U.S. Open. Granted, it's playing this week, so he's not playing, but that would be kind of cool. Back to back.
I'd love that he plays on the senior tour and then just smokes everybody.
He's just phenomenal. The way he can drive the ball. Yeah, on a senior tour like that,
Which there's a lot of good senior players.
Absolutely.
There's still
we had the senior tour here for a few years until now it's the 3M championship. But man, those guys, I used to go there every year, and those guys still hit bombs.
Oh,
the tees are obviously moved up, and it's not as long.
Yeah,
but
I love watching VJ Singh.
He can bomb the ball.
And he's super creative at times where it's like, oh, that's different than I would have played it.
Bernhard Langer is probably my guy. That guy still wins tournaments like crazy too. That guy's fantastic. And so it's still fun to watch, and we'll see what happens. That would be pretty cool though if Phil could win the PGA or
back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. Tour
although now we got Phil till he's 55 on tour.
As long as he stays healthy and wants to, he's got a 5-year exemption.
Go Phil! Congrats, Phil.
So I didn't want to take away from that, but that's kind of after the tournament. That's the biggest part now. Besides Phil winning, is the Brooks and Bryson drama. What the heck is going on?
I thought I had a really good transition into it,
and then I kind of ruined it. But I wanted a hint.
God, I was so proud of that,
and I didn't mean to take it away. I still think it was a good transition, but I didn't want to leave that out.
No, that's good.
It's something that probably won't happen for a long time.
Yeah, good for Phil. Good for golf.
Good for golf. Good for Phil. Good for the podcast.
Yeah.
We got something to talk about.
Our weekly Phil Talk.
The Phil Talk is going to continue, and it'll continue next week too, regardless of even if he plays. But the Brooks and Bryson drama, part of me feels that Brooks just hates the dude, and then Bryson doesn't really Bryson's the mad scientist, right?
So do you think it's kind of like, because we'll tease each other when we play golf, right? Like we talk a little trash, you and I.
Yeah.
Do you think Bryson kind of sees it as they're just goofing off, where
he's Brooks, semi not serious, but Brooks can't stand him?
Yeah. So it's like Brooks generally hates him, and Bryson's like, hey, I'm gonna poke him a little bit.
Kind of, yeah.
It's kind of like the Dwight and Jim type deal, where I feel like Dwight generally hates Jim, and Jim's like, I kind of like this guy.
He just knows he can pick on him. He loves to pick on him because he enjoys the entertainment.
Which I don't think Bryson by any means is like a harmful guy or wants to make Brooks mad, but I feel like when you know what makes somebody mad and it's super easy like that, you gotta make them mad.
For me, Brooks is a guy that is very well calculated and is very analytical in all the things that he does. He's the mad scientist for a reason, right?
Bryson.
I'm sorry. Did I say Brooks?
Yes.
Thanks for my correct. Yeah.
And we're not cutting that out. We're keeping that.
Go ahead and keep it. Bryson, mad scientist. He's he's all about the numbers. And that's how he's been. That's his MO, right?
Right.
Which is fine. And it's like some people love it, some people hate it. I don't think it's bad for the game of golf, but I could see where sometimes people might get a little annoyed of the things that he does.
I think it's an interesting take on golf because it definitely takes a lot of the emotion and a lot of the what ifs out of golf. Obviously there's still like what if this, what if that, and there's all these outlying forces. But if you look at Bryson and you go, man, it's 400 yards away, and Bryson goes, pitching wedge, you're gonna go, oh, okay. But, you look at someone like Koepka, who's generally more emotional, very stern all the time. I feel like if he's sad, it really plays to his disadvantage, where Bryson's just kind of like, I hit the ball 400 yards. Who's going to stop me?
And I think Brooks, excuse me, I'm going to take that backtrack. I think Bryson actually really respects and likes Brooks.
That's kind of why I think it's like
the other way around. Yeah. It's kind of a one-way story here on this, because they've had a little bit of, I don't want to say issues, but they've been paired up before.
Mm-hmm.
I believe there was the Masters in 2019 where it was either the Masters or another tournament where they were paired up, and it essentially took them there was a shot where it took Bryson 3 minutes because he was in the woods. And there was a lot of 3 minutes. I'm gonna bring a stop clock when we start playing.
Don't. You don't want to know.
No, that's. A lot of people end up in the woods. It's a normal thing for an amateur golfer or just a regular golfer. But there's been built up. Mm-hmm. It's not just he didn't just get pissed off at one time. There's been a few other instances, right? Where I think Brooks is completely just annoyed of the guy and Bryson just kind of goes with the flow and is whatever, and so you see this interview, and of course it just takes over Instagram, social media,
huge deal.
Now it's just probably the biggest meme of 2021
so far. Yeah,
so far.
Like you don't even have to like golf to meme it.
Yeah, I mean, there was I forget which account posted kind of the whole little interview in their story, and so you can kind of get the each section, and it was like Brooks is talking, and all of a sudden just the look. I mean,
just
looked like he
utter
just wanted,
disgust.
Yeah, like if looks could kill, that would be the
which
look.
is funny because Bryson was just like chilling.
Yeah, just walking by, but you hear the clunk, 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 clunk. You hear the spikes, and then all of a sudden, like Brooks just kind of comes unhinged.
Yeah,
just completely pissed off.
Eyes roll and
pure comedy.
Yeah,
though. I loved it.
Oh, pure gold.
But then Brooks does. So Brooks said that all that was pissed off, not happy, and then Bryson did comment. I think
this is why I think it's kind of like
it's like a one way,
like a one-sided type thing.
Yeah, because what did he say? I think he said there's
ways to fix.
Yeah, there's ways to fix that, or there's tools to fix that.
Yeah,
kind of, so to speak. I'm not quoting him directly, but kind of paraphrasing kind of what he said, which Bryson, I guess, does have a point.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other feud is. I would love to kind of...
Which, we're kind of about how we think it's about... Like, because he said spikes, so it'd be shoes. Where, I mean, Brooks I think he's playing, like, the Nike Infinity Tour, which has the biggest spike in the heel I have ever seen.
Yeah, and got some big spikes.
Yeah, and like you pointed out, Bryson plays Puma. Well, I use Puma, too, and mine are spikeless.
Yeah.
I have the RSGs.
And I know, and we were kind of talking about that too. Like, I know Bryson's more of I don't want to say classic style, but obviously wears the old school hat.
Yeah.
And so maybe he's
got the old style.
Yeah, I guess I'm not really sure, but they did, honestly though. It reminded me of my high school football days because that noise did sound like cleats walking back to our school like during halftime.
Oh yeah,
and they were so loud. So I'm not gonna start a war over it.
Yeah.
With
Do you
Bryson,
remember last season when Josh Donaldson got ejected for swiping at home plate after his home run? It's that type of thing where the ump, I think, is just an ump, but Donaldson hates the ump. Just for priors. So when he's like, yo, I'm gonna hit this dinger, and Donaldson goes up, swipes home, and the ump's just like, out.
See you later.
See you later.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting, and I love that there's so many awesome...
I love that it's a meme.
And I love how so many people are so quick to like, bam.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're like waiting for it, and then it's already out. Like for the tour... The office scene, I posted that one. With Dwight and Jim where he's bouncing on the ball. Which is, I don't know if that's why you made that reference, but it's
a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like...
Well, I feel like, because I'm more of a Parks and Rec guy, there isn't really like that kind of hatred in that show. But like I don't want to say they hate each other in The Office either, but it is definitely more like a one-sided type feud.
Yeah, definitely. Granted... There's obviously that speculation where Jim's really the evil one.
Yeah.
Over Dwight.
There's all sorts of theories.
Yeah. But all-time favorite show in my book. But it is very, very funny how so many people are just like quick to just...
Yeah, the interview came out. The interview came out, and then all of a sudden there's videos of them dancing, and then there's...
Oh, yeah.
All these memes, and you're just like, man, you guys need to like go to bed.
And shout out to... is it 19th...
Oh, yeah.
What is it? Let me look here. Hold on.
I love their page.
Yeah, it was... the 19th Society. I mean, literally, they had so many great videos. I think I must have posted like 3 or 4 videos over the weekend of Phil Mickelson.
Mm-hmm.
The one dunking over the PGA Championship. The basketball was really actually the PGA trophy. Freaking gold. Yeah, I must have posted...
The Baywatch with Phil, too, is a classic.
The Bomb Watch. But yeah. That was for the tour. They always put out awesome content. And then, of course, the Phil one where he's in the zone where he's dancing. Mm-hmm. They just took his picture where he's on some club or some boat or whatever it is. But
so he always wears those sunglasses.
How does he do it?
So first of all, do you think he's like sponsored? Because I don't know what brand they are. But if they don't sponsor that man,
I'm sure they do.
It's a crime.
They have to. And for me, I can't play in glasses.
Oh, I have to.
Well, I have contacts
I have glasses.
because I used to have glasses, and there was something with me, my back's being like looking down with like the edge of the glasses.
Yeah.
I just didn't really like it. Like I'll wear my sunglasses.
Maybe that's why
There
I
you
can't
go.
talk. Maybe that's why
We're not taking that out.
Damn it. Maybe that's why my golf game sucks.
Yeah, that's what
Probably.
It's your glasses.
Yeah, if I take them
You
off,
get your
I'm blind.
contacts. I'm telling you.
No. I have a hard time touching my eyeballs.
I had the same problem. It's fine. You get used to it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my glasses.
Okay. Continue to suck.
I'm good with that. What they say, the average golfer shoots 100? I'm good with that.
There you go. Yeah. That is something I can't do. I'll wear my glasses like in between shots if it's really bright out.
Yeah.
But I just can't wear the glasses.
I've noticed that. Like if we're riding around, you have them on, but then they almost always come off.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've tried it, and I've sometimes like it's not a big deal, but I'd prefer just to not wear any glasses on my head. That's why I wear my contacts. So, but Phil's like it's like Terminator with those glasses.
I love the all black.
Yeah,
too,
very classic, very nice. Phil is the man, and I'm glad he did win.
So going back to Bryson and Brooks, if you had to pick Team Bryson or Team Brooks, who you
you're
picking?
Gonna put me on the spot like that?
I'm picking Team Bryson because I feel like it is very one-sided. So he just likes to poke Brooks.
Are we talking like picking sides based off this battle, or like picking sides like
based off the battle? Because obviously, if it's who's going to beat who, I think Brooks would probably win.
Yeah.
But in a driving contest,
I really wish I would like to, honestly, I think I've heard nothing but bad things about Bryson as far as meeting him. I've heard he's actually a really awesome dude.
Yeah.
I haven't really heard anything about Brooks, but I would like to meet Brooks and just see how he's, because I'm sure he's a pretty down-to-earth guy too. He just seems definitely more like laid back, go with the flow, and he'd probably be a really cool dude. But play-wise, right now, I mean, obviously with his knee injury, I would take Brooks. But I think over the whole situation, I think it was maybe a little blown out of proportion.
I think so.
But again, if you think about it, Brooks just took second. Not that, I mean, he's still making money.
Oh,
a lot of money. But he could have been in a complete pain with his knee. He could have just had a bad, you know what I mean? I don't want to like cushion it for Brooks, but at the same time, it's just funny that Bryson just happens to be walking away with his football metal cleats, and Brooks. I mean, the timing is almost perfect.
Oh, part of me is like, oh, it's scripted. Like that's just too good.
Do you think Brooks was Brooks was doing the interview and Bryson was taking his football cleats and he was heading over to the driving range?
Drags his feet on purpose.
He's heading over to the driving range though. So, he saw 366 and he's trying to go for 400.
406, 466.
I actually like both players, and as far as the situation based off of what I've seen, I would take Bryson.
I'm more of a Bryson fan. I actually like meeting him. I haven't met him, but he did videos with the guys over at GM Golf and Good.
Oh yeah,
it's the same.
Yeah, hangs out with a lot of those
and
guys.
he was hanging out with them, and he seemed really down to earth. He was kind of giving them tips on how to hit bombs and stuff like that. So I'm sure he's down to earth, and I'm sure he's a nice guy.
I think both of them probably are. I'm sure that it was just kind of caught at the wrong moment at the wrong time, and Brooks was pretty frustrated at his performance.
I will say, Brooks with a goatee, don't like it. Shave it. It does not look good because his doesn't connect.
He had that serious like look on it. I love that. Going back to the memes, with the little beard. Yeah, it'd be more. Of a
I saw that the goatee brush.
Yeah, the goatee brush. I don't know. I don't know if I was sold on it either, to be honest. I honestly thought though that he was gonna come in and probably win, or it was gonna be a lot closer than what I anticipated.
Which I mean, it was a great.
It was still fun though. It wasn't like a runaway win for Phil. I mean, till towards the end, because for the beginning 9, Phil and Brooks were letting kind of everyone have a chance to come back into the match. You know.
Well, on the last round, Phil kind of just put on cruise control, which is all he had to do.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like towards the front 9, he had a couple little hiccups.
Blunders.
Yeah, blunders.
Yeah.
But then he started getting back into it and played really well because Louis Oosthuizen, like we were saying, like there was a chance for him to kind of continue to come up, but then he hit a couple bad shots. But I think that's where the whole Bryson Brooks feud continued. I think he was really just unhappy with, and it sounded like in the interview he was really disappointed in the greens because he said he couldn't read them. He had issues reading them.
Which, I mean, I can't read greens anyways.
Yeah,
my ball's here, the hole's over there. I gotta get to point A to point B.
I'm just gonna go ahead and just hit it and hope for the best.
I'm gonna send the ball home.
Send it. So I don't know. I said I really like Brooks. I like Bryson. I think as far as individually, I think he was caught in the wrong moment at the wrong time. He was just heated. He was frustrated, and who wouldn't be? I guess. I mean, he could have been, like I said, could have been in complete nerd or knee pain, and then
nerd.
Yeah, complete nerd. You're the nerd walking on football spikes. No, I don't know. I'm happy to see that he was up there though. Oh yeah. I mean, you come out with a pretty big knee surgery, and you're already finishing the top. Well, you took second. Yeah. So good for him, and Bryson. Hopefully, maybe he can clap back with a W.
Yeah.
Soon.
So this little quote unquote feud. Obviously, this is the next major is what, July?
Yeah, the U.S. Open will be the next major.
So do you think the PGA will feed off of that and go, oh, hey, I heard you guys don't like each other. Let's put you in a group.
Saddle you two up.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
They're smacking each other with golf clubs.
I think the popcorn would be, everyone get the popcorn ready.
Oh, yeah.
I think it would be fantastic.
Or even put them on like some kind of team.
Well, I mean, with the Ryder Cup, yeah, there's potential
good.
with both of them being on the same team. Pair them up. Let me just take a look. It's coming up soon. Normally the U.S. Open's in June, which that's what I was thinking. So the U.S. Open is in is at Torrey Pines.
Yeah.
And that is on June 17th. Day after my birthday.
What the hell's in July?
It's probably the Open. That's the fourth.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
the Open. Yep. So the U.S. Open is in June.
That's like a couple weeks. And you'll be 32.
Less than a month away at 3 weeks.
And you'll be 32.
You have to bring that up.
Yeah, well, I did twice.
Why you got to bring that up?
And I'm 24.
So U.S. Open will be allowing a limited number of fans. Oh, that was one thing. I'm getting off track here.
Shocker.
So, right? That was the one thing I wanted to talk about. There was a lot of debate about that final round and that final hole. There was complaining, going back to Brooks. Mm-hmm. Him and his caddy. Apparently his caddy got punched in the face. Not
really?
like on purpose, but like he was with that whole crowd.
Oh, yeah.
It took, even if you watch it, you couldn't find Brooks.
My mom and I were watching it, and I said, I'm like, could you imagine being Brooks? Because no one was chanting Brooks. It was Phil. Could you imagine how just disheartening that'd be? You worked your ass off in a major, and then all of a sudden you're gonna get second.
It's like Shooter McGavin, where he's like, "This is golf."
Yeah,
he's like hitting the little volleyball,
steals the jacket.
Yeah,
it's got to be just so disheartening to be Brooks, and that's the flip side to it because everyone's like, I got the arrow shots for Phil, and everyone's got the crowd for Phil, but being Brooks, you're just like, man, this kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's terrible, and not only that, he talked about how he just had knee surgery.
Yeah,
it's not really very good. It's not really safe, I should say, to have all those people. I thought it was awesome. Mm-hmm. I didn't want anyone injured. Obviously,
yeah, it was super cool to see because it was like pre-COVID and obviously
But it sounded like the PGA Championship kind of issued an apology for the lack of security on 18. Again, from the TV and the viewing, it was fantastic, but obviously I think that was another frustration on Brooks, which totally understandable.
Oh, for sure.
So I think that all that was kind of built up, and his best friend had to be walking by in football cleats. That was the last straw. But
do you think he went home and just chugged a beer?
Probably. He's a Michelob Ultra. That's his beer.
Is it really?
That's his beer, yeah.
That makes me hate him even more.
That's his beer. Well, no, he had his dog and his fiance.
Yeah, but he drinks a Michelob Ultra.
Well, that's his ad. I don't know if he really... I'm sure he drinks them. I'm sure he probably drank a couple stiff margaritas.
Oh, that might make me like a little bit more... You gotta be frozen margaritas, though.
So that was the one thing that I wanted to kind of hint on was the fans obviously were fantastic as far as being there. There was the one guy, I think it was on Saturday. Did you see that where Phil hit that shot and the guy started patting him on his back and Phil kind of did the duck? It's like, what are you doing, man? Don't touch me.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? Oh, it was awesome.
No, I have a job.
Well, obviously with COVID, you're not supposed to,
Right.
And I was thinking, I don't know, it was pretty funny. I actually rewound it and replayed it. So that was one thing that it kind of, I think, also boiled Brooks was the whole fan thing. And that's totally understandable. You don't want a crowd like that that's literally they even announced it on the TV. Like, they couldn't even see Brooks.
Yeah, the crowd's
there. Sudden, like 3 minutes later, he comes out of the crowd. It's like...
at that point, the crowd's there for Phil. Yeah. Which, like I've been saying, it's got to be just so hard, keeping your momentum, which obviously on 18, Phil would have had to really screw up and Brooks would have had to hit like an immaculate shot to have a chance.
He had to pretty much make an eagle.
Basically,
the second shot, which would have been insane. Could you imagine?
Oh, man.
That would have just been absolutely crazy.
I would have loved to have talked about it.
Oh, for sure.
Brooks, you suck. Make that eagle.
Make that eagle.
That being said, you definitely beat me any day of the week pretty easily. Don't beat me up.
The way that those guys...
His work ethic, I don't think gets enough credit for Brooks.
Oh, he put some videos
so much work
that same day. It's kind of like the Rory. The very fitness, but in a different way. Rory is thinned out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Super muscular and got a good physique, but Brooks, Bryson, kind of in that same, like, let's beef up.
Yeah. No, I got to talk about Bubba, because Bubba had those workout videos, if you remember.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's got his little weights.
Yeah.
And then Brooks is there. Just big weights. And then he looks over and goes, what? And it's just like, you're welcome.
That's another guy full of comedy right there.
Bubba, yeah. Bubba just has so much fun with the game, and like, he's just there for a good time. Absolutely. If he wins, he wins.
Yeah, I'm excited for the U.S. Open. That would be pretty cool if they did do a pairing of Brooks and Bryson.
Yeah, no, that'd be like, I hope they do it just for like the fun of it and just like the memes.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, I know golf is quote unquote prestigious.
It would really hype up the ratings.
I know.
So we covered a lot. We're plugging away here. I guess we'll kind of end on how we end every podcast.
Bring on the food.
What is there anything that you had this past week that maybe you'd recommend?
So my birthday was last Tuesday the 18th, and we're on the 25th now. God, yeah, it makes me feel old. One of my favorite places is Granite City.
Okay, yep.
And I had this burger, and it was like the millionaire burger. So I had like this like kind of spicy-ish bacon. I had like a lemon aioli, and I was like, oh, this is going to be weird, but we ordered it. It was really good. I want another.
It does sound pretty good, actually.
It was like something with like the lemon kind of worked with the bacon, and it was so good.
So we had there's a place called, I'm trying to remember the name. It's in the North Loop Galley, which is not too far from our location, and essentially it's like a big open bar with seating, and then it has 3 restaurants, and it's got rectangle pizza, which is fantastic. Is it
like the school breakfast pizza? You know what I'm talking about?
No, it's like a Chicago / Detroit style pizza, and it's one size. It's rectangle, so it's like a deep dish style pizza, and it's very good. So if you're listening,
okay, there's like a weird cut. The dog decided to go absolutely bonkers.
She went crazy.
But you're talking about pizza?
Yeah, rectangle pizza. It's fantastic. But anyway, so we haven't had that in a while, but the reason why I brought it up is that there's another restaurant in there, and it's called Soul Fu, SOULFU, and
is it tofu?
No, it's like a no, it's not tofu. They have all sorts of different. They have wings, all sorts of dishes, but they have just a dish that's basically fried rice.
Okay.
And it is like the best fried rice. It's so good, but it's basically like one entree. So it's like a big meal. And then it comes with your choice of wontons, a couple of things. But they have really good egg rolls. And I don't even eat egg rolls, but you gave me that. You let me try that one egg roll, and it was good. What was that one place that we ordered from a while back?
We had egg rolls? Oh, yeah, and then I ordered
St. Paul. Or
yeah. Urban Walk.
Urban Walk, yeah. So like this place had
that was rolls. A pot sticker.
Oh, that was a pot.
That was a pot sticker.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but they had egg rolls, and they gave us the wait was a little longer than expected, so they gave us free egg rolls.
Yeah,
they were so good, and I'm not really an egg roll guy.
I don't like egg rolls; they give me a headache. Which I guess is like a thing with people, and I guess
the MSG I've heard.
I think so because I don't like fried rice either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like onions, so stuff like
I'm
that.
not a huge onion fan, but I've learned to kind of go around them.
I've tried. I don't know fried rice.
It's got like a not a Tabasco sauce, but it's like really spicy fried rice. Mm-hmm. It's so good. And I love anything hot, so it's something that we ordered last week, and if you're in the Minneapolis location, highly suggest it. It's really good. And the place itself, the atmosphere is awesome. So that's kind of my highlight for the food that I've had this week. Other than that, we've kind of been low key. Got a Costco membership.
Yeah, adulting
101. So I wish I would have had like a golf membership, but unfortunately I went with a Costco membership.
Cheaper.
Yep. And so yeah, no, we've been kind of low key on the restaurants, but North Loop Galley, that's pretty poppin' place. Mm-hmm. Enjoy it.
If you were to get a golf membership to like a local course, would you? Like, especially around here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because I think I'd get one for like Majestic Oaks.
Yeah.
I'd get their Majestic card.
See, I've used to have that for a few years, but it's a good deal. The downside is like you really have, it depends on what you do and like what your time frame is as far as your work schedule.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like that's something you have to like really use and dedicate.
Yeah, I mean it is worth it, but again, if you're working a 8 to 4 job or 9 to 5 or whatever it is, majority of people are working that same shift. Mm-hmm. So when you're trying to get off and go golfing, it gets really busy. So Majestic is a good track and I like it, but it's always really busy. Mm-hmm. But Victory Links is probably my favorite course locally. But if I'm gonna get a membership though, I would like if I'm gonna drop money, mm-hmm. I'd get a private membership. Even though it's super expensive. Obviously.
If I'm gonna drop money, yeah.
Yeah, private membership, that's the way to go. But if it's just like a public course, Victory Links probably.
Yeah.
That's my take. So next week is episode 7? Episode 7. If you're listening and you have any suggestions, give us send us a message, both Save Par Golf or Save Par Golf Podcast.
And if you want to sponsor an episode, we're more than willing.
Yeah, send us a message. Let us know.
Super fun.
Yep.
The guys at OB are great.
Save Par 20 for the discount code. I will put the link in my bio. And if you're on Instagram, it's OB Golf Co.
Yep, at OB Golf Co. Out of California. They both live in different areas because we want them on. But
yeah, we're gonna get them on the podcast here soon. They actually they played the par 3 Tiger Woods course near.
Very jealous.
Yeah, super jealous.
Look great.
We're gonna have them on. They're gonna actually talk about that. So we're gonna get their experience that they had, and hopefully we can maybe get out there one day and tee it up. So we got a lot to look forward to in the future with our different hosts and different people on. But OB Golf, we'll hope to have them on soon. Again, it's Save Par 20, and it's OB Golf Co.
Yep. Saves 20% off. Very simple. That's off all their gear. It's lifestyle, but it's also...
Yeah, they got a pretty cool website. They got all sorts of stuff. Like you said, they got leggings. They got stuff for the women, for the men.
Yeah, they have like these cool duffel bags. I'm kind of a bag whore. So I love the duffel bags. I don't own one, but they look nice. They have like polos, bucket hats. I've got a couple of their t-shirts.
Some cool hoodies.
The t-shirts, I can say, super comfortable.
There you go.
Love the long sleeve.
He's got a few, so there we go. So again, give them check them out, give them a follow, and we'll talk to you next week.
See ya.
Later.